Welcome to Smokin Bulls, the podcast about business, money, and lifestyle. Today, for a smoking topic, Dave and I are discussing the Metaverse. Let's get into it. So, Dave, we just did a webinar with Megan Chen from Fidelity Investments. She's their resident expert on everything digital asset as well as Metaverse. If you guys want to check it out, I believe we're going to provide the link in the YouTube video here. So do click on that and check it out. It's a great conversation with Megan about the Metaverse. So maybe let's hear your take, Dave, on what do you think the Metaverse is after our conversation with Megan? What's that?
That's a lot bigger than I thought it was, or the potential there. I mean, it's just a replication of real life. It's the digital version of real life. Kind of in my mind, originally I thought, it's where you go to do some 3D gaming. 3D gaming.
Yeah.
That's about what I thought it was. So,
yeah,
after this, it's
interesting to hear that the Metaverse is basically, if you think of the universe, the Metaverse is a universe but held online on the internet. So what Megan, I think, was saying was that it's just a way to become more immersive in what you're already doing online. So she talked a lot about meetings and how you can host like a Zoom meeting, but it's more with a headset and you are now in a 3D environment with your colleagues that you're meeting with. That's pretty cool. Some of the stuff I think we wanted to get into with her and more on our smoking topic is what are the implications socially? If we start moving everything online, do we all just live, we've made comments, do we all just live in cardboard boxes now plugged into the Metaverse and living our life there instead of living it in the real world?
Well, I always joked about this. I mean, at some point, all you're going to need is food and water. Yeah. I mean, you're going to get everything else virtually. And I would assume the only things you can't get virtually are food and water. I'm not sure there's a way to deliver that to you. So, I mean, I think you can order it and some autonomous vehicle is going to show up and deliver it to you. But to me, if you look at it from the bad side of it, I think you get people who are antisocial other than on the digital side of things, not hanging out with each other. Your already rapidly declining birth rate in the Western world will, really go to nothing in a way. I mean, that's the bad side. But I guess the good side of it is maybe from what Megan said from your webinars or from hosting all of your employees that you can all be kind of almost present in 3D where you and I could be sitting talking to each other. I mean, it's kind of movie stuff, but that's the possibility of, and that's where it's going. They've already hosted some of these. Yeah, it sounds
like that's how they're doing some of their meetings at Fidelity have been done in the Metaverse where they are all on a 3D virtual headset and they're in a meeting room together, but separated by great distances. Yeah. Sounds pretty cool. She talked a bit about too the like sporting events, being able to go to a game, let's say it's the Oilers game that we're getting ready for tonight in the playoffs, and you can go and sit beside all your buddies and watch that game in a virtual reality setting and
for only $50 a ticket each.
And not have to go down to the stadium. And now that stadium can technically host 10 million people if it wants to, instead of just the 18,000 that can fit in the stadium.
I mean, they would just sell the stadium 70 times over. You get to sit with your friends for $5 a seat. Yeah. I mean, at first, I wouldn't doubt that this would be a replication of the stadium. You can hang out with your friends and sit in those seats and watch the game in 3D, and it'd be free. But they're going to monetize it.
Eventually,
everything will be monetized. And I think that kind of ties in with the sense that in some of these Metaverse universes, what were we talking about here? There's obviously Horizons from Fidelity and Engage. I can't remember who that was. And then there's...
Yeah, like the hosting platforms.
Yeah,
where you can conduct your Metaverse
Decentraland and the Sandbox, which are more, I would say like Bitcoin, decentralized networks. Nobody really makes the rules and it's a little bit more open world. So I guess it's the Wild West in a way. But being able to own land and buy it with Ethereum, and then, to me, it's the leap between a digital world and the real world, because the fact is you can transact with Ethereum in the real world. You can transact in the digital world. And I just think back before it was really kind of a metaverse and a 3D virtual reality type thing. I mean, my kids, would be playing, I can't remember, the World of Warcraft, I think it was back then or whatever. And they were always talking about people who are making money. They would build characters and then sell off these characters or sell off some of goods that they'd acquired and for real money. I mean, we're talking it was converting to cash. So some people were actually making a living from this. So, to think about buying and selling land in a virtual world for Ethereum and taking it and, converting your Ethereum to Canadian dollars and buying a Lamborghini. This all sounds quite possible the way this is being discussed.
Yeah, well, Megan was talking about, JP Morgan and Fidelity themselves buying up plots of land in the metaverse. Fidelity apparently has a piece of land that they've built an office on.
Like a storefront.
It looks like a storefront, yeah, that's right. And it's like a bank branch that you can walk into this Fidelity branch in the metaverse and conduct business there, I guess. I don't know what you're going to do.
Well, I think you can maybe talk to somebody about products and things of that nature. My fear always is with something like this, you need somebody there. I think of AI and I think of all of these places, chat with us now. And, about 3 questions, you're like, great.
I'm talking to
There's nobody here.
Yeah.
It's just an automated answer type thing. It's the equivalent of going on the phone and press 1, 2, 3. Next thing you know, you just don't get to a menu item that pertains to what you're looking for. So you hit 0. Oh, we don't have anybody here now. But you've spent 20 minutes getting to that point.
Yeah.
I find the same thing with these AI chatbots that are like, that you never get
now.
You never get to the where you want. So if you're going to run a VR virtual reality storefront, I assume you better have somebody with a VR goggles sitting somewhere in Boston or wherever.
Yeah, waiting for somebody to walk in the door.
That's right.
Sounds like a good job.
I mean, it could get busy. Who knows? But I think,
yeah.
I mean, if people, and I think, I'm worried about the social aspects of it, but at the same time, I think Megan answered some of those pieces that were quite cool. That were like, people are already spending on average, 7 to 8 hours?
7 to 8 hours in front of a screen.
So it's about enhancing that experience and getting people closer together in essence, instead of us just looking at, say, Amazon and looking at 6 photos. You're now in the virtual world picking up something that you might want to buy and spinning it and holding it and looking at it. Now,
like
how realistic?
Yeah,
how realistic can they do? Yeah, in a virtual store, you're walking in that virtual store like you'd be walking in the mall. So, I mean, that could doom shopping malls, obviously. I mean, the need for space in this world's going to get dramatically reduced.
Yeah,
if
we were
that's
trying
what
to
we
figure
spend
out,
time in
what's industry is going to be hurt by the metaverse developing, and it was hard to find one that could be hurt because you think most industries are going to take a position in the metaverse and become successful there. The Nikes of the world, if it's clothing, if it's even restaurants can have a storefront where you can go and shop, pick out your menu item, see the food, have it delivered to you.
Right.
But when it comes to real estate, things like the shopping mall that you just talked about, I think that's probably what would end up suffering. Do you still have to build shopping malls? Do you still have to build soccer stadiums if everybody's attending this event on the metaverse?
Well, I mean, can you go to Italy and can they recreate Italy so that your experience on the Amalfi Coast is the same as in VR? And will you pay somebody with a virtual hotel to stay there while you're on the Amalfi Coast, where you just go back to your bed in your room and lie down? I mean, how much money are you going to pay for a virtual hotel stay? It's crazy.
It's wild, but it's the only thing I could think of. It would be on the real estate side that suffers.
I think the hospitality bit, you might not go out as much and order the food in. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'd want to be able to order something from a nice restaurant in Italy. Like, who's going to deliver that to my door?
True. Yeah, I guess that's right.
You're just still going to be ordering local. I mean, and if really everybody orders a lot of food virtually, you're not going to have real restaurants. You're just going to have little factories inside of industrial areas, like ghost kitchens, if you want to call them that, really just bang out everything and anything. So how good will the food be? Will it just become bland mush? It will develop over time. But I'd be more worried about how the socialization of people is. I mean, I think we've already seen over time people are willing to act out of their normal social ways online, say things, do things, from a hate, from a, all of those things that they wouldn't normally do in person with someone.
It does become, the question then becomes a governance around the metaverse. And can you act however you want online inside of the metaverse, or is there going to be rules around it?
Yeah. Well, I think you have two types of platforms. You have the centralized ones that are going to set a lot of rules, and you're going to have the decentralized and, be wary. I mean, we talked earlier about, me reading about people going into the metaverse and being assaulted in different ways, verbally, touching, all of those things. Understand that some of them create these boundaries. If you choose to not have your boundary, I mean, how do you police that? I mean, are you going to be able, if someone assaults somebody in the virtual world, can you press charges in the real world?
Yeah, that's mind-blowing. Who knows?
Bob from Australia hit me in the back of the head when I was walking down the street in the Tommy Hilfiger store. Like, I want Bob charged. Like,
yeah, it's an assault online, like an assault in real life.
Lots of people will say an assault online is an assault in real life. I mean, many people have written stuff about other people online, and it's considered defaming or hate speech. Or I think some of that. It's just when you start getting down to the types of things that you would normally be charged for when you're in the presence of another person, like sexual assault, regular assault, weapons charges, all of this. What happens when they're virtual weapons and this and that? Like, how are you going to deal with that?
It makes you wonder why the metaverse is coming to be. Like, why recreate the world we already have and recreate it online? I guess to make the world smaller. I mean, you and I can meet just like we're meeting right now and have a virtual conversation, and you could be in Denmark and I could be here. Yeah. I mean, I see the value in doing something like that, but to recreate the world, like sell land and create stores and buy clothes in the metaverse and create your own character that you then operate with, I don't know, it seems strange. Yeah, money, for sure.
All about money
drives it, yeah.
I mean, can you afford to buy a piece of the California coast right now?
No.
But you might be able to buy for $15,000 a piece of a fake universe that, as you joked about, Snoop Dogg bought some property. So when they buy it in the sandbox, so
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, you can try and get as close to Snoop Dogg and try and flip your property one day, your fake property, your digital property. It's not fake; it's digital.
Yeah, it's
for Ethereum. And like I said, how many? We can joke about the crypto world where in the last 15 years there was a lot of crypto Bitcoin, millionaires that came out of it all because they adopted it quickly. Yeah. And you see, well, not here, but places that they congregate, fast cars and big houses and things like that. So how long will it take for maybe some metaverse landowners to get out and flip their land and
to get meta wealthy?
Yeah, drive their Lamborghini around on an empty road because everybody's in the metaverse.
It's really a question. We've said it before. Am I going to have to keep up with the Joneses in the metaverse instead of in the real world? Yeah. It doesn't really matter the house or the car I drive, or even if I have a car in the real world. It's just a matter of how I perceive or am perceived in the metaverse.
Well, she mentioned, Megan mentioned Nike. Yeah. The whole idea if you buy some physical sneakers, they'll give you the digital version of them.
Right. So you own them digitally and
How many people are going to see your Nike sneakers when you're walking around and here at the office, or when you go with your kids, or when you're hanging around? Maybe the people this, that, but virtually, like everybody will see them. Anybody you connect with through around the world. So maybe that's the way it's going to go. Maybe instead of just showing off to your close family and friends with your nice sneakers and your fast cars and all that, now you get a digital version of the Lamborghini, and no one else can have a digital version of the Lamborghini unless you own the real one.
Right.
So now you can go brag to millions of people instead of just a couple hundred.
It's wild. It's the Matrix, and it's happening now.
It's happening, yeah.
The future's now.
Maybe we're already in it.
Maybe we are.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I think there's great investment opportunities. That was pretty much what our webinar was. But
you're rebuilding a world from scratch.
So why wouldn't you participate in that? Yeah. We kind of answered, I think, in a way, what is this all about? In the end, I think it's, if you get to the lowest, not the lowest, but if you get to the crux of it all, it's money. Mm-hmm. I know there's going to be a communications side to it, a 3D reality, not having to leave your home, being able to engage, all those things. But if there's money trading hands, then it's about money. Yeah.
Well, even just to develop the background technology and software and devices to operate in the metaverse, that's money.
And the internet infrastructure required.
To make it all run. Well, I don't think we've answered very many questions. We've created a lot. Yeah. But thanks for joining us on this smoking topic, speaking about the metaverse. If you want to learn more about us, you can follow us on social media, or you can catch us online at smokinbulls.com. Thanks for watching.